This is the Back to the Fitrah Ramadan program, and we'll be coming to you every single day with a letter from the alphabet of emotional transformation. And today is anxious to amazed. And I'm here with Lena Maghribi from our Back to the Fitrah mentors. So welcome, Lena. It's good to have you here.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
So anxious to amazed. I think a lot of people are anxious. We hear that a lot. We get that a lot coming up when we're coaching people and working with people. And I know you've had your own experience with anxiety, which is why you were keen to talk about this particular topic. Now that you've had insight into anxiety and how it all works, what's the question? The question is, what do you think it is that we're misunderstanding that's leading us to be anxious?
Okay, I think the main point is not understanding where it comes from. And what I discovered is a lot of it is just coming from my own thinking. Once I realized that it was coming from my own thinking, and it's not thinking of anything tangible. It's usually thinking about things that haven't happened yet or things that have happened in the past. It's never really thinking about the actual moment that I'm in right now. So you end up creating this anxiety in yourself because you're worried about something that happened in the past or worrying about something that might happen in the future. And I don't think I was aware it had to do with my thinking. There was
So
that
a few
link.
things I've picked up, a few things I picked up from that is, one is, if you're feeling anxious, it's a clue that we're not living in the present moment, that we're probably caught up in the past or the future. And the
Yes.
second one is that you're saying that it's coming from thought. Now, I think most people who are anxious know that it's thinking because they know their thinking is going a bit crazy. And what I hear a lot of the time is, yeah, but, and following the yeah, but is, but yeah, what do I do with all that thinking? Like, how do I make it go away?
And that's actually what I discovered is how to make it go away. It's really quite simple, very profound, but quite simple. So for me, I learned that you make it go away by just letting it go. I mean, the thoughts will come in, you can't stop them from coming in, but you don't have to dwell on them. You just realize, oh, this thought is now crawling in. It's making me feel like I'm not well, that I'm a bit anxious. So, okay, I recognize that. Just let it go, let it pass, and make dua. Dua always helps you with anything you're going through. And just make dua, Allah, let this thought pass and I'll be okay. And focus on what you are doing right now rather than those thoughts about past or present, and focus on the now.
So I think the whole concept of, letting go of thoughts is also something that eludes people, and they get more anxious because they feel like they can't let go of the thoughts. And I think what we've come up with is more that it's kind of let it flow rather than let it go. Would you agree?
Yes, I agree. I agree. You can't stop it. I think people want to actively stop it, and that doesn't work. You end up thinking about it more by trying to stop it. So just understand that the thought will come in and it will pass. It will pass eventually. So, I mean, I could use one of your metaphors. It's like a cloud when it comes and covers the sky, and then it keeps moving, and then we can see the sun again. So, it's not going to stay there forever. We, at the time, think it's there forever, and we hold on to it, and then we start dwelling about it. So, that's what keeps it alive more, more than it should be. But if
Mm.
we understand, let it flow, let have its natural course, make some dua, make some dhikr that will help you to just stay focused on the moment and let it flow past, and it will go.
Mm. It's interesting because we often use the metaphor of a storm So,
Mm.
in a sense, an anxiety attack is like a thought storm, isn't it? You're having a storm of thoughts. So, if we go back to the analogy in weather, when a storm begins, we don't know how long it's going to last, right? And we don't particularly worry about it, unless, of course, it's a very extreme storm coming, because then there could be some anxious thinking about the storm, even. But say it's just your normal storm, you don't have a lot of thinking about it because you know it will pass, right? You know that eventually the storm will pass and it'll be calm again. And I think one of the challenges that we have is when we start having feelings that we feel uncomfortable with, and anxious feelings are uncomfortable, that we worry because we don't know how long it's going to last, how long we're going to feel uncomfortable, and we want to do something about it to try and fix it or to feel better, to make it go away. Or we get caught up into thinking there's something wrong with me that I'm actually even feeling this way. I shouldn't be feeling that way. So into self-judgment. But if we were able to see the thought storm the same way we see the weather storm, as okay, it's going to be a bit cold, it's going to be a bit windy, it's going to be a bit wet for a bit, but then it's going to dry up and it's going to be sunny and clear again, then we can actually weather the storm. And that's, I think, what we mean by let it flow, like just let go
Yeah.
through the process of feeling the feelings, realizing that that's just I'm just having some thoughts and feelings at the moment, but I will feel better. I will come out the other end and have the confidence in that.
I think also what helps me is remembering that whatever it is I think is a problem, that Allah doesn't burden us with more than we can take. So if you always remember that as well, that whatever it is happening in life, or whatever thoughts I'm having about what's happening in life, it's okay because whatever it is, I can deal with it. And just
Mm,
me being conscious that I can deal with it really changed for me from being anxious and scared to being confident and secure.
mm,
So it did make a big difference, alhamdulillah, that just remembering that. And we
yeah,
know all these things, but we just don't put them all together in a nice little package where you can actually use it in life. Because I knew
true.
a lot of this stuff, but it just all came together in such a lovely way that now it's actually something you can actually do in your
Mm.
life that helps you just live in a very, very peaceful way.
It's interesting. I think a lot of the time we don't think we have a choice, that we're going down this path and there's no choice in there. But I had an experience recently which really showed that there is that choice in the moment. I woke up at sort of like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I have no idea why, but this particular bill that I hadn't paid, popped up into my mind. And of course, at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm not going to get up and pay the bill. But usually, when I'd have a thought like that, I would actually entertain that thought. And then I would start thinking about, oh, yeah, and I've got to pay this and I've got to pay that. And then I'll start thinking, oh, and so I need to worry about whether I've got enough money to pay all those things, and get into this state where not so much an anxiety attack, but definitely a sleepless time and night, and maybe stay awake for hours. But this particular night, the thought popped up, and I was about to go down that path. And then I thought, I don't really need to be thinking about this right now. I can think about it in the morning. And I rolled over and went to sleep.
Yep.
And that was a new experience for me. And that's where I think the amazed part comes into it. The anxious to amazed is that it's like that simple sometimes, that we've just got to notice where our thinking's going and going, actually, that's not helpful. I could actually think about this a different way, or not think about it at all in the case of going back to sleep, and everything's okay.
That's it. And that's what did amaze me is that a lot of the things that caused me anxiety in the past, it's what amazes me is how easy it is not to get anxious about all those things because I know that I'm okay. I know that it will pass, and I know that Allah is with me. And just those three things, it changes your whole experience in life from anxious to amazed. Just
Mm.
knowing. I think the big part for me was knowing, understanding. Oh, it's a thought, like you said when you were sleeping. I don't need to do that. I don't need to think about all the other bills I have to pay. That's it. I'll deal with it tomorrow, inshallah. And that's it. And you can roll over and go to sleep.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. And so this process that we're talking about, it's not, because you've mentioned doing, but it's not such actually something that we do, is it?
No,
It
I think when I say doing, I just mean living normally. I don't
mm,
mean there's any strategy to implement here. It's our natural way of living that Allah created us in. So I don't mean to suggest that there's anything that we have to actually do per se about it. You're just
yeah.
living.
And I think sometimes uh, getting caught up in the idea of I have anxiety or I'm an anxious person can also exacerbate things too, because we're creating the story that this is how I am, this is how I'm going to have to experience it. And then that closes the door to experiencing it differently. Would you agree with that,
Yeah,
Lena?
I think I did a talk before. I said that the doctors told me that I have mental illness. I have anxiety. It's something I'm going to live with the rest of my life. And oh, but sorry, also you'll have depression because that's like a side effect of anxiety. And we'll just have to control that. We'll just have to deal with how to live through that. And for
Mm,
the longest time, that's what I believed until it just I didn't believe it anymore because I saw that there was another way to live.
mm,
Um, so alhamdulillah, it's not something that you have to live with at all. It's not even
mm,
a condition at all, actually. Now I'm more aware that we actually almost create our own anxieties by not understanding that it's where our thought, it all comes from our thought. The situation's not going to change, but your
mm.
thought can change. Or not, no, that's not how I wanted to put it. Your thought, you can understand the thought and let it pass. The situation will remain as it is. It's how your attitude towards life changes in a way where you accept things and you just let them pass as they should, like the storm, and not be afraid because Allah's with me. Not
Mm.
be afraid that I'm going to get too much and I won't be able to handle it because Allah will never burden me with more than I can take. So all these things together really make it very simple, but for me it was a very profound transformation from anxious to amazed.
Yeah. And it really boils back down to in the remembrance of Allah, the hearts find rest, because usually in those anxious moments, we've forgotten that everything happens according to the qadr of Allah. So you were talking about thinking about the past or the future. So if we're thinking about the past, it was the qadr of Allah. And so accepting that that was what it was and now move forward. And it's not happening to me now, so I don't actually need to think about it now. But I think the future, where the past comes in and interferes with the present, is worrying about whether it will happen again. But the reality is, if we've learned the lesson from the first time when it happened, even if exactly the same situation came up again, we're not going to tackle it in the same way because we've grown, we've changed, we're a different person now. And so having anxious thinking about that is actually just taking you away from being present in the moment. And all that concern and worry about what's going to happen in the future, as you said, Allah will never burden us with more than we can bear. So whatever the future is that's going to come, it's not necessarily going to be easy street, but it is going to be manageable. It is going to be something that you can navigate because Allah wouldn't put you in that position if you couldn't. And so there's nothing to get anxious about.
That's it. And I think I already knew these things, to be honest. Like I knew these ayahs in the Quran about, the mention of heart and finding rest. And I knew that Allah doesn't burden us with more than we can take, but I couldn't link it to understanding how we function as human beings, how we've been created to function. And I couldn't link it to understanding that my thought had a lot to do with how I saw my life. And like you said, like we can't stop the thought from coming in, but we can stop ourselves from going down that rabbit hole. Like you said, when you were laying in bed, like you had a thought about the bill, and you stopped yourself from running down that rabbit hole of the other bills and the money and then that would have like been like just a whole string of things that no need for it all. Okay, yep, there's a bill to pay. Okay, I'll remember that in the morning, inshallah, and go to sleep. So
Yeah.
and it's even a more serious thing. That's it. Just understand it's only that. It's not all the other bits you add to it, all the other stories you add to it, all the other extensions you add to it. It's just one thing. Let it pass. Let it understand that it will pass, because nothing stays forever. Even the situation will pass. Everything will pass. And you can be okay through it. You don't have to be stressed through it or anxious through it.
Yeah. It's brilliant. And I think I just recalled there was another thought that popped into my mind at that moment when I said I don't need to think about it right now to myself. I actually remembered, well, Allah's the provider. So
Yeah.
whatever is necessary, He will provide. And so it is very much about when we reconnect with how Allah fits into the picture of the situation that we're in, that the anxious thinking shifts to peaceful thinking. And so your anxious experience changes to a peaceful experience.
Yes, and as you know, like for me in the past few months, I've had like, not only have I had like a mental transformation, but an actual life transformation. When you're anxious, you can't think straight about anything, really. It's very difficult. When you're calm and peaceful, it's much easier to make decisions. And relying on Allah for the first time in my life, I made some decisions that normally would have had me in knots and anxious and feeling really scared and unsure. And but Alhamdulillah, the fact that I was in a peaceful state and just relied on Allah. It's just I
Mm,
really now also understand the reliance on Allah at a very deep level, Alhamdulillah. So again, I can't get anxious when I know Allah's right there with me. What am I going to be anxious about? Like Allah's going to solve whatever needs to be solved. And my future's already written by Allah. So worrying about it is going to make any difference whatsoever.
yeah. And that's really what we call tawakkul, isn't it?
That's it, tawakkul. It's really a higher level than I've always had tawakkul as well. So these are things that really like I've always had these things, but it was a very shallow understanding, unfortunately, but alhamdulillah that I found, the deeper understanding that actually helps a person or understand and then navigate through life in a way that is peaceful. You
Mm,
feel like at peace always, even through the hard times, you deal with them at peace. Alhamdulillah.
alhamdulillah. So I guess it's time to share with them how they can also have this understanding. We've got a very special opportunity through Ramadan to join our Back to the Fitrah inner circle for life. Like our when people join our inner circle, it's lifetime access. And normally it's $490 for lifetime access or $49 a month. But throughout Ramadan, it's $290 or $29 a month for 12 months for lifetime access, which, if you consider how much it might cost to go and see counselors or psychologists or therapists for just a few sessions, then, and this is for life, you've got us for life to support you. There's a whole team of amazing mentors and coaches in the inner circle that support around relationships, around panic and anxiety, around parenting. There's weekly masterclasses and everything that you need to have the understanding that has changed everything for Lena. So I'm going to pop the link up, but I'm just going to let you know that at the moment it still comes up as $4.90 or $49 because something hasn't been changed on the page. So there's the link back to the Fitrah.online, and very shortly I will make sure that is edited so that when you click on the buttons, the right amount comes up for you. Apologies for that it wasn't ready on time, but it will be available throughout Ramadan, this very special offer. So, Lena, what difference has it made to your life having this understanding?
I've gone from anxious to amazed. It's just that's the difference, literally. Literally, if anybody who suffers anxiety or feels that like they're anxious can imagine that can be transformed to amazed. You don't have it anymore, and you're more, not only do you not have it, but you're amazed by what life has to offer, and how Allah is with you, and how everything can just move smoothly from within. The outside will do what it does.
Yeah. So do you find that you've got better, your relationships are better?
Definitely.
Your motivation?
Everything's better. Everything changed. My personal decisions, my relationship with people, my ability to navigate through difficult decisions, everything's changed to a much better, peaceful life, pretty much. Like I really don't get stressed at all anymore, which is a miracle for me. Even if I feel it coming, I say, oh yeah, I feel that coming. I'm okay. It's good. I'll be fine. So you just refuse to believe that this is going to end up in anxiety or anything else, because you know you're okay. So alhamdulillah, it's life-changing, literally.
Alhamdulillah. So anybody who's challenged with anxiety, you're most welcome to join us. There is a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you get in there and you go, no, this isn't for me, don't worry. You can just let us know within the first 30 days. So there's nothing to lose and everything to gain by joining us, especially in Ramadan. We only run this special twice a year in Ramadan and during our conference, which is in September. The rest of the year, it's at the full pricing of $4.90, which is by itself, really, if you think about it, for lifetime access to all the support you need, it isn't a great investment in the first place. So alhamdulillah, I look forward to anyone who decides to join us this Ramadan, inshallah. Jazakallah khair, Lena, for your time today. I really appreciate it. And we'll say to everybody, leave your takeaways in the comments. We'll come back and have a look at them. None of the comments have popped up on my screen here. So if you have been commenting, my apologies. This is new software and I'm still familiarizing myself with it. And so I will come back and comment on your comments manually after the live. And we'll see you again tomorrow, inshallah. Tomorrow we are going from bitter to blissful with Janine. And I think that we often find ourselves feeling a bit bitter now and again. So we're going to unpack bitterness tomorrow, inshallah. So Jazakallah khair, Lena. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam, rahmatullah wa barakatuh.